Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Temple of Kriya Yoga. Just 2 days away from the first day of spring. So today we're going to talk about new beginnings. And we just did the mantra, the Om Ganesh mantra. And as Swami Shastananda was talking about earlier, Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. We have, in case you want a visual, there's a statue of Ganesh right there. He's the remover of obstacles, but also a god of education and knowledge and wisdom, which is one of the ways that we remove obstacles, is through our knowledge and wisdom and our meditation. So we invoke this Lord of knowledge and wisdom before our new undertakings. Some of the things I'm going to talk about today are the essential nature of new beginnings, and then take some time to talk about the vernal equinox, which is what we call the first day of spring. And it takes place this Tuesday, March 20th. And I'll talk about how we can use the energy that's illustrated by the astrological chart of the vernal equinox to make a new beginning for this quarter of a year. We'll also do a ritual, which will be a guided meditation to prepare for our new beginnings. One of the key things that I want to talk about is that we are cosmic beings, spiritual beings, flowing through a river of time. In Sanskrit, this is called Kala Purusha. You may think you're like this physical body, but we're more than that. We're our spiritual body. And then there's a dimension that we talk about called time. And it's like an ever-flowing river, because river's not always the same. Sometimes it's shallow, sometimes it's deep, sometimes it's swift, and sometimes it's slow-moving. Sometimes it's warm, sometimes it's cool, and sometimes it's clear, and every once in a while it's sort of murky, and we don't always know where we're going in this river of time. But just like that, time is not always the same. Every day is different from the rest. Some days are similar, but they're not all exactly the same. Each moment having a somewhat different nature. Some moments are calm, and some moments are very potent with the ability to start something new. So that's what we'll talk about today. There's 4 cardinal points of the zodiac that are expressed as moments of time and space and are a potent time for new beginnings. The sun, as it's seen from Earth, because we know that Earth is not really the center of our solar system, but, well, that's true, isn't it? Just like we're not the center of the universe, right? But we think we are. And it's like that. So, but everything is from our perspective, and that's okay. That's where we have to be, where we're at. And from our perspective, the sun goes around the earth in a pattern called the ecliptic. And when it gets to the point astrologically of 0 degrees Aries, or the first point of Aries, that's the point where the sun crosses the celestial equator northward. That's in case you want the technical stuff. But that's the first, we call the vernal equinox the first degree, or 0 degrees of Aries, the sign Aries. But we also have 3 other points: the summer solstice, which is around the 20th of June, the autumnal equinox, which is around September 20th, and the winter solstice around December 20th. So we're dividing the year into 4 quarters, and sometimes it's easier to conceptualize making a beginning at each quarter than it is just at that one point in January, and then no other new beginnings can take place at all. So, but there's a lot of wonderful points for new beginnings, and the equinoxes and the solstices are excellent points for starting a new goal or new purpose, or re-establishing yourself for your purpose or goal. So let's focus on the vernal equinox, this first day of spring. The equinox has a nice symbol, like we're talking about balance, right? And the balance that we see at the vernal equinox is the balance of day and night. It's sometimes people say they're exactly the same length, but they aren't. But they're just about the same length. So in the Chicago area, it seems like it gets dark around 6 o'clock, and it becomes light again around 6 o'clock in the morning, right around the vernal equinox. So that's a wonderful symbol just to think about and contemplate and reflect on that symbol of balance. But there's also something happening that's like a river in the sense of a flow of energy. We're moving from Pisces to Aries. And Pisces, where the sun has been going through for the past almost 30 days, the sign of Pisces. And then the sun is going to move on that ecliptic, on that path of the zodiac, into the sign of Aries. So Pisces is the sign of dreams and dreaming and intuition and creative insights and internal energy. Aries is active energy, taking action, moving out into the world. So whether you're conscious of it or not, for the past month, you've been dreaming. You've been thinking about your subconscious, your unconscious mind. Maybe your conscious mind has been thinking about your hopes and your dreams, being more aware of your dreams at night, being more aware of your daydreams and what they're bringing you. So it's been a whole last month, which is sort of preparation for this movement of the beginning of springtime. The symbol that we always see around springtime is the symbol of bulbs, flower bulbs that were planted underground, and I haven't seen any yet, but some people said they're just seeing like the little green sprouts of those lilies or those crocuses, all those beautiful things that come up, and they just give us that wonderful feeling of upliftment when we see it, of hope that something's growing. It's winter, especially in the Chicago area. Sometimes it seems so grim. It's just there forever. You know, we like it at Christmas, and we see the beautiful lights and the snow on the ground. We go like, oh, snow, it's so wonderful. And then, by this point in time, we're going like, snow, no, we don't want any more, except for, a few people who really enjoy that coldness. But it's a time when we're seeing the bare trees, and we're seeing, it seems like, is life ever coming back again? Will we ever have that sun again? And now we had the time change, and it's light out a little later, and we're starting to perk up a little bit. We're starting to get that spark of spring. So, and we're seeing the bulbs growing. So you've had your dreams, your night dreams, your daydreams, your dreams and goals of the future. And you can only take advantage of your dreams if you're ready. So we're going to work today on getting ready. If you're ready to get ready. Okay, so what I do as an astrologer is I draw up a chart of the vernal equinox, the position of all the planets, not just the sun. We talked about the sun is going to Aries, but there's other planets, and they're all in a pattern. And the pattern is constantly changing, just like this river of time. But we pinpoint the exact moment of the equinox, March 20th, 2018, 11:15 Central AM, Central Daylight Time. Lots of planets. There's in that chart, there's lots of planets in Aries. There's 4 planets in Aries. So there's going to be a lot of action. We're going to be ready to go. We're going to be ready to act and do things. But you can't, even if you're ready to do things, you can't do things unless you know what your goal is. So you have to think about, what do you want your new beginning to be? The closest aspect in this chart to the sun is a square 90-degree aspect with Mars in Capricorn. So the sun in Aries is square to Mars in Capricorn. And it has a little bit of a wider square to Saturn in Capricorn. So what does this tell us symbolically about the next 3 months? Can the chart give us information we can use? That's what you want to know. So the sun and Mars both have high energy that want to run straight towards a goal. Is that good? Could be good. But how about when your goals are in conflict with another person's goals? Even if the most simple thing to do that your resolve is like a New Year's resolution, only it's a vernal equinox resolution. Even if your most simple resolve is, like, say, to eat healthy. What if the other people in your family don't want to eat healthy? Then what do? What if you decide all you're serving for dinner is tofu and kale? And they're used to, like, burgers and fries and ice cream? Do you think there could be some conflict there? Actually, I believe that there's more arguments in the world about food and what food is good for you than there are about politics. The other planet, so we talked about the sun and Mars, the other planet involved is Saturn, which symbolizes limitations and restrictions. Limits are not necessarily good or bad. Sometimes they're just the laws of life. So the key question for you is, at this time, can you initiate something? Can you have a new beginning without ego, or without your ego getting involved? Can you move gently and appropriately toward your goal? Can you move with detachment and steadiness of purpose toward your goal? The new beginning that you've identified, that is your challenge. Can you make a new beginning and move forward without getting angry and frustrated if things don't go your way right away? I want to work with you a little bit on this concept and think about the metaphor of driving a car. So most of you maybe have driven a car, you've been a passenger in a car, you've seen movies about cars driven, that kind of thing. But you understand the metaphor of driving a car. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment so you can clearly visualize what I'm talking about. You have a place, like a goal, that you want to drive to, but there are rules of the road, which are like rules of life. You get in your car and you know your goal, but you cannot go as the crow flies. There are buildings in the way. You have to follow the road. These are the laws of life. Imagine you're driving now. There are lines on the road. You stay in your lane. That's saving you from running into drivers from the opposite direction. You come to a stoplight. Are you angry because you have to stop? There's timing that's going on that's saving you from the drivers on the cross streets. The roads become snowy and icy. The rules have changed. Is the universe being unfair to you? Are you angry about this? Sometimes there's a lot of traffic, lots of people going in the same direction as you, and it's really slow and frustrating. When it gets slow and frustrating in traffic, do you just turn off your car in the middle of the expressway, get out and say, I quit? Hopefully not. No, you keep driving till you get to your destination. And maybe as you get closer, you can imagine that there's a rainbow and a pot of gold at the end, or whatever your dream is. So the question is, can you make a new beginning and move toward your goal without getting angry and frustrated if things don't go your way right away. If you can do that, then you have succeeded in using the energy of this vernal equinox appropriately. You can open your eyes now, but it's a good thing to think about, because driving is a Martian activity, meaning not people from Mars do it, but people, but the planet Mars in astrology is relates to driving. So that's a good symbol. You can watch your driving, or watch how you are when you're in a car, or even on a bus, and traffic gets slow, and see how your emotions arise at that time. That's just the way we can watch that symbol. So in yoga, we use the word detachment. How can you move towards your goals but still be detached emotionally? So one of the things you can do is have a clarity of purpose and steadiness of purpose. You can understand that the way of life is not always smooth. It definitely has ups and downs, or sometimes it's a roller coaster and has big ups and downs. But you're always moving. And failure is not failure if you're learning. Keep learning. And now we're going to do a guided meditation to also help us remove the obstacles. It's a meditation about a healing river. So I want you to find yourself in a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Sit up straight if you can, but whatever position is comfortable for you. And begin simply by relaxing. Being aware of the different places in your body that hold tension. So we'll take a short walk through the body. Focus first on your feet and your toes. And feel your feet and feel your toes relaxing. You might feel a warm or tingly feeling in your feet and toes as they relax. And feel that feeling of relaxation flowing into the ankles and the calves of the legs. Your lower legs are relaxing. And then relax in your knees and your thighs, your upper legs relax too. And bring that feeling of relaxation into your torso and also into your back, so that the lower back relaxes, the middle of your back and your upper back relaxes. Your back is perfectly balanced and aligned, and the muscles that support your spine are supportive but at ease. And then take your awareness down to your fingers and hands. And feel your fingers and feel your hands relaxing. And then relax through your arms, your wrists, and your forearms, your elbows and upper arms relax. And feeling that nice warm feeling of relaxation go over your shoulders. Letting go of all your burdens of the day and relaxing your shoulders and relaxing your neck. And then on up into your face. Relax your mouth and your cheeks, your eyes, eyebrows, and forehead. Relax over the top of your head as well. Your whole body is completely relaxed and at ease. And in your imagination, in your visualization, imagine that you're walking through a beautiful field of spring flowers. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, it's very pleasantly warm, and the scent of the flowers is lovely. The colors are all different kinds of blues and pinks and yellows and green. And as you walk through the meadow, you see there's a river ahead of you. Not too big of a river. Just a river, and you can see as the river is flowing through the banks of the river that there's the light of the sun is sparkling on the river. and you can see it's almost like you can see prana in the river as you see the sparkling light of the river flowing across the riverbed. And right where you're standing at the banks of the river, you can see there's some rocks in the river, and they sort of look like a recliner chair. They're sort of in a nice, comfortable position, and you put your toe in, the temperature of the water is perfect for you. It could be a little bit warm. If you like a cooler, it could be a little cooler. Whatever is nice and pleasant for you, just get in and sit among the perfectly shaped rocks that support you. And you can feel the water of the river, the healing river, flowing not only over your skin, but you experience it flowing through you. And the water of the river is clearing any physical or emotional blocks that you might have. So you feel it flowing through you very gently and very pleasantly. And it's swirling through your head if you have blocks there, through your neck, through your shoulders, through your arms and your fingers. It's swirling through your torso and your legs and your feet and your toes. And I'm going to give you a moment of quiet to experience the river flowing through you and clearing away anything from the past that you want to release. Some people like to imagine it's just like you're doing some house cleaning and you're swirling mud out of, off a dirty floor or something, but you don't have to worry about pollution. The mud that's being swirled away is the river's taking it down to a river delta where it builds earth for new plants to grow. So it's not pollution, it's just you're just releasing and relaxing and letting go with the river and the sparkling water that's flowing through you. And now you're aware that you're going to get up from the river. It's easy and comfortable to do, but you remember that you can come back to this healing river anytime and just let that prana and the sparkling light flow through you. But you get up from the river on the other side, and on the other side of the river you see a path, and you know that that path will take you to your goal and to your dream. It's just waiting for you to begin. So let's very gently pull our awareness back from the river and back from our dream and back from our visualization. You might want to wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit to get your body a little more awake. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So I just want to remind you that we are spiritual beings flowing through the river of time. And the quarters that we talked about, the vernal equinox and the solstices and the autumnal equinox, these are just some very potent times for new beginnings, but there are other times that are good for new beginnings. So it's not just those times. You could think about every new moon is a time for new beginnings. Your birthday, we call in astrology your solar return, is a wonderful time for new beginnings. And I was fortunate enough to come across the phrase, each day is a new beginning. So you don't have to wait for the beginning of spring or January 1st or your birthday to start something new. Each day can be a new beginning. And then Kriyananda once said, which is very helpful, I thought, that every breath that you take is a new beginning. Every breath is a new life. You don't have to be stuck with what you've had in the past. Every breath is a new beginning. Every time you can think a new thought is a new beginning. The spiritual essence of new beginnings comes from the creative efforts and energy you put into each moment. Remember the mantra, Aham Brahmasmi, which means that we all embody the creativity of the divine. You create your new world one day, one thought, one breath at a time. I'd like to conclude. Let's just chant. We've done our Om chant, but let's just chant one more Om. Let's bring it all together with one more Om. Just inhale deeply and exhale out the sound Om. Let's hold it as long as we can. And then reflect on that Om for this in silence for a moment or two also. So inhale. Thank you all very much for being here today.